This is Damian McNamara for Global Medical News Network, and with me is Dr. William Muiños, who's Director of the Obesity Program at Miami Children's Hospital here in South Florida. Dr. Muiños, thank you for talking with me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now you just came out of a talk where you were addressing childhood obesity, which everyone knows is this huge epidemic, not only in the United States, but you said around the world as well. And the multidisciplinary approach that you use at Miami Children's Hospital, you said relies on parents and caregivers kind of being like sergeants, like very sort of strong and they don't negotiate, very regimented. Can you tell me more about that?
I've seen that the role that the parent takes in changing childhood obesity is very, very important, and they have to take the role of a leader. And I try to empower them to do that. Children, as we all know, will negotiate everything. So that cannot occur in this problem. This problem is, the magnitude of this problem can only be arrested if a parent is 100% involved in trying to change this. The role model that kids look up to are their parents. And I try to empower the parents to do these things, to follow this type of eating behavior, to follow this exercise modality, so that if the children see the parents do it, then the child will follow.
So it's leading by example, is what you're saying?
Leading by example is key. You know, many times when they start the program, I see two obese parents pointing the finger at their obese child and saying, "We want this change." And I'll turn around at them and say, "Well, he's only going to change unless you two change. So you need to do this." And I try to tell them that if you're not willing to do this, then you don't belong in this program.
Can you tell me what's novel about the approach to your obesity program at Miami Children's Hospital?
I think what's novel, a couple things. First of all, I individualize my approach with every family. I don't give them a diet, or I don't do calorie counts. I educate them about the benefits of fruits and vegetables, high fiber, low fat protein diet, and I educate them in that aspect. I also introduce the concept of exercise, which is sometimes not emphasized, and especially if you go to some of these other dietary manipulation programs where they just talk about portions and specific foods, and they avoid the whole thing about exercise. So I emphasize that.
You sign a contract with these children and you grade them on their efforts, sort of like school, you get an A through an F depending on how they do. How do they react?
Well, I think that they react very positive. You know, most kids are very competitive, and most kids do not like to get Fs. I either give them an A or an F, nothing in between. They get an A for doing what I ask them to do, for doing what I call their homework. They take a journal to every visit. Every visit I give them a task for the next month. The task will involve some changes in physical activity, changes in what the consumption of some of the foods that they eat, and then I ask them about that on the next visit. And if they achieve those simple modalities, then I give them an A. And it usually is reflected, if they follow the steps, it's usually reflected in the diminution of their BMI. And on the other side of the coin, when I see that they're coming back and they're not, either the parents, and usually it is the parents, or the child are not into it, then I give them an F. And if I give them 3 Fs after the third visit, I tell them to leave. I terminate them because I said, you're not ready for this, and you need to come to work here, not to play around with me. I got too many kids that want to do this, and I want them to do it right. So I think that it makes them accountable, and kids like that.
For Global Medical News Network, this is Damian McNamara.